Hi everybody, my name is Sarah and welcome back to Future Zoologist Academy. Today, for our lesson, we'll be exploring an amazing little lizard. And this lizard has some really unusual adaptations. It has perfect little gripping fingers, it has a long grasping tail, and a tongue that's even longer than its body. Today, we're learning all about chameleons. Let's get into it. Chameleons are a family of lizards with about 200 different species, though there is quite a lot of debate about exactly how many species exist. Nearly half of all chameleon species are endemic to the island of Madagascar, meaning they're not found anywhere else in the world. Though there are several species of chameleons that live on the mainland of Africa and in Asia, and there's even one species that lives in Europe. Now, most chameleon species live in warm, tropical environments, especially in forests, though there are some species that live in savannas or even in the desert. Now, we did just say that most chameleons live in forests, which makes sense when we think about the fact that most chameleons are arboreal, meaning they live in the trees. Though there are a couple chameleon species that are terrestrial, meaning they live on the ground. But even the terrestrial chameleons have a lot of the same adaptations as the arboreal chameleons, things that allow them to move and hunt and hide up in the trees. Let's start with the adaptations that help chameleons to move. Chameleons have zygodactyl feet, meaning two toes point one direction and the rest of their toes point the other direction. And their toes are fused together or joined together, which turns their feet into these perfect little pinchers and gives them great grip. They can even reach far distances between tree branches thanks to that fantastic grip. And they have something else that gives them good stability, their tail. Chameleons have a prehensile tail, meaning they can grasp things with their tail. So when they're resting or they're hunting, they're able to hold on with their tail, which gives them a little bit of extra stability and make sure that they don't fall. Speaking of hunting, let's talk a little bit about a chameleon's diet. Chameleons are carnivores, meaning they are meat eaters. But a little bit more specifically than that, most chameleons are insectivores, meaning they're primarily eating insects. Chameleons eat anything from grasshoppers and crickets to butterflies and beetles and a whole bunch of other insects. And some of the larger chameleon species even eat small vertebrates like lizards or bird chicks. Chameleons, of course, catch their prey using that very long, sticky tongue. A chameleon's tongue is typically longer than its body, if not even longer than that, and it shoots out of their mouth in the blink of an eye thanks to specialized muscles and a hyoid bone located in the back of the tongue. They shoot it out, the sticky saliva on the end grips onto the prey, and then they pull the tongue back inside of their mouth. Chameleons can easily detect prey in any direction because they can move their eyes independently from one another, meaning they can look in different directions at the same time. One eye can move to the left, the other eye can move up, which makes it easy for them to keep an eye out for prey or predator at any given time without even moving their head. It's very important that chameleons are able to keep an eye out for predators because they do have a few of them depending on where they live. There are many birds, like hawks and hornbills, that eat chameleons, and so do many snakes and large lizards, like monitor lizards. In Madagascar, they have an extra predator. The fossa is also one of their predators, but only in Madagascar. One of the best ways that chameleons avoid predators is by remaining unnoticed, and they do this in a couple different ways. When chameleons are walking, they often sway or rock back and forth, which kind of makes them look like a leaf blowing in the wind and helps them blend in when they're high up in the treetops. But of course, something that chameleons are very well known for is their ability to change color, which gives them an exceptional ability to camouflage or blend in with their surroundings. Chameleons are able to change color because of special cells that they have in their skin, which have the ability to change their structure. And when the cells change their structure, it changes the wavelength of light that bounces off of them, which in turn changes the color that we see with our eyes. Some chameleons have the ability to drastically change their color in the blink of an eye. Many of the species that are popular as pets, like a panther chameleon, can change between a variety of colors very quickly, whereas most other chameleons can kind of change from a light to a dark version of the color that they usually are, like the Namaqua chameleon, which can change from a light brown to a dark brown. Part of the reason for the lack of extreme color change is because of the other reasons that this color changing ability is helpful for chameleons. For many chameleons, the ability to change color is primarily helpful in thermoregulation, which is the word we use when we're talking about how an animal regulates or controls its body temperature. Dark colors absorb sunlight and they absorb heat and they help animals to warm up, whereas light colors reflect sunlight and reflect heat and help animals to stay cool when it's especially hot. So let's think about the Namaqua chameleon for a moment. On a cool morning, the Namaqua chameleon might make their colors a very dark brown, because that way they're going to absorb sunlight and that's going to help warm their bodies up. Now, if they get a little too warm and they need to cool down, they might change to a light brown, because the light brown will allow sunlight and heat to bounce off, to reflect off of them, and will help to keep them a little bit cooler. Scientists have even found that there's another reason for this color changing ability, and that would be communication. That different colors and patterns can communicate different things to other chameleons. For example, we've seen that brighter colors can signal aggression when there are two chameleons competing, whereas darker colors kind of signal submission or giving up, letting the other chameleon win. They've also seen that brighter colors can signal good health and fitness and be more attractive to potential mates. Let's talk about those mates for a moment, because for most chameleons, they spend most of their time alone. They are solitary. They hunt alone, they live alone, they spend all their time by themselves, except for the breeding season. And females will produce pheromones or communication chemicals or smells that let males in the area know that she's there and she's looking for a mate. Males might compete or fight to prove who's the biggest and the strongest, to prove who would be the best option for the female to select as a mate. Most chameleons are oviparous, meaning they lay eggs, though there are a few special chameleon species who have live offspring instead of laying eggs. For the oviparous chameleons, the ones who lay eggs, they usually lay their eggs underground, and how many eggs they produce typically depends on the species, but it can vary quite a lot even within the same species. Some chameleons lay just a few eggs, whereas the veiled chameleon has been known to lay more than 100 eggs at a time. Most chameleons are completely independent when they're born. Their moms and dads do not stick around to teach them how to survive. They have to learn how to hunt and avoid predators all on their own. And even though they have all of these amazing adaptations to help them survive, most chameleons have a very short lifespan of just a few years. In fact, there's one species of chameleon, the Labord's chameleon, which holds a world record of the shortest lifespan of any vertebrate, with some individuals living for 4 months. Now, unfortunately, many chameleons don't even live the extent of their very short lifespan because of many threats that they face in the wild. Their main threats include poaching, but especially habitat loss, especially in the forest ecosystems they call home. Deforestation is a huge problem. In Madagascar alone, an area the size of West Virginia has been destroyed since the 1950s. But fortunately, there are many conservation organizations working to protect and restore the forests that chameleons and lots of other animals rely on. These conservation organizations are working with the local people in Madagascar to plant new trees and expand the forest so at least a little part of what used to be the chameleon's home can be restored. If you'd like to learn more about these conservation projects and complete some activities and quizzes and fun projects all about chameleons, please be sure to visit our website. The link is below. That is all we had for you today. Thank you so much for joining me to learn about chameleons. I hope to see you at our next lesson. Thank you very much.